Hi, good afternoon, guys. My name is Chapagain, and today I'll be presenting and my presentation for assignment 2 for management of cybersecurity. The topic of my assignment is why ethics an important consideration for information security. And now let's begin with our presentation. And in this topic slide, like when we think about the cybersecurity, we often think about firewalls, passwords, antivirus software. That are basically the technical side. But the other side that always remains in shadow is like ethical side. How security professionals behave, how they work, how they transfer the information. That's also that all are the factors that need to be consideration. To explore these, I'll be using Australian Information Security Association Code of Ethics to further illustrate about different ethics principle that an information security person should have. Basically, there are six code of ethics. They are honesty, legal compliance, competence and diligence, confidentiality, professional development, and integrity and respect of other. I will do each of these code of ethics in each slide. So let's begin our presentation. So that's first slide is honesty. The first standard on in AISA code of ethics is honesty. So what does honesty mean for information security professional? That's it's mean that an person is truthfully represent your knowledge, your skills and your capability and your service. Like you must not overestimate yourself or your qualification or any such thing that might underestimate the content that you are delivering. According to the AISA Code of Ethics, it codes that I will be honest in my representation, particularly of my knowledge, product, service, skill, and capabilities. Now, why does this matter so much? Think about it like this way: organization have information security personnel because they trust them. They trust that these personnel will give accurate information and should and they will find out different kind of security risks. They will trust them as they might be tell uh, true, and they will disclose all the information. Like if that professional is dishonest, like they are not qualified enough to get that job, then it might lead to a catastrophic condition. Honesty is like it's a critical component for legal compliance. Let me give you an workplace example to bring it into life. uh, Imagine you have a penetration tester that somehow hired to try to penetrate different kind of security vulnerable in the system. And this tester like find out the security vulnerability in their site, but uh, it could not disclose because it thinks that that will makes their company defame, or if he or she report, then our company will be in loss. And now this is an uncomfortable situation. Reporting this reporting this to higher authorities should be done in like clear manner. If he or she doesn't report it, then it might embarrass to the firm. But if the professional does the right thing, then company might find a way to tackle such thing. So he or she should be honest and give the accurate information to the company, and they should try to find out the way to fix that problem. So it's first so by this way it's the first standard of AISA code of ethics. Now let's move to the next one. The next one is legal compliance. What does legal compliance actually mean? Like it means that it need to be compiled with all the law government position. For example, there are different kind of organized law governing organization that has different kind of law. In Australia, there are several these kind of organization like Privacy Act 19. Act 1998, or Criminal Code of Act, or Security of Critical Infrastructure Acts. These uh, standards simply say that I will comply with all relevant law. So what does it matter? Like, here is something that surprised many people. Even a security professional with good intention can break the law. For example, let's say a penetration tester who goes beyond their agreed scope and check out the data of different person, or check out the data for the organization who he or she are not authorized, then it's also an illegal. Legal compliance is also important for data breach reporting. uh, Beyond data breach reporting, here is a workplace example, like a cloud security architecture who worked in healthcare provider has stored their data in some foreign or offshore country where their data security isn't good or isn't legally compliance with the security with the legally compliance, mm, according to their country. So their data is stored in offshore location that are vulnerable to attack, or that are vulnerable to lose. So in that case, it's do not meet the legal compliance. And to meet the legal compliance, it should be follows all the standards or principles that a country has set, and it should follow all the legal things. Now let's move to the next one. The third one is competence and diligence. The third standard is like competence and diligence, as you already know. It has two words, competence and diligence. First, competence means have right knowledge, right skill, right qualification, while diligence means to work with care, with attention to details, etc. The AISA code state that he or she will conduct themselves with competence and diligence in all professional activity. Like, if also mean that if a task is beyond your current skill, you should so rather than attempting it or doing it poorly. So why does it matter? Like, according to ASCA, every 6 minutes a crime is reported in Australia that is related to cyber crime. Attackers are using increasingly sophisticated method to breach the data. It might be like AI-driven phishing attacks or advanced system. An incompetence vulnerability assessment might miss a critical weakness. A careless incident report might destroy the forensic evidence or that could be needed in the court. So both competence and diligence are needed. You can be technically brilliant, but the way you work might be too sloppy, or that creates us many problems. Uh, let's take an workplace example, like a software in a data analysis system. A person is like working at 2 a.m. in the morning, and there is some kind of DNS traffic, unusual outbound of DNS traffic. DNS is something that used to search the website, or it has the location to get the website. And at that time, it is a minimum attack, but a person with competence and diligence would take the attack seriously and try to solve it and report it to further, rather than ignoring it and going to take a copy. Now let's move to the next standard. And the next standard is confidentiality, and this is, I guess, the most critical standard. The AISA core state that, like, I will maintain the confidential nature of all the sensitive and um, important document and information that I encounter. Like, what makes this standard unique is not just its end, does not end when it shows up in, like, your obligation come even after professional relationship over. Even if you leave the company, finish a consulting agreement, you will be still bound to protect what you know, or what you saw, or what you heard. And it cover not just information, but any information that's another company or another organization find it like sensitive. Why does it matter? Because information security professional have an extraordinary access. A chief information security officer have access to organize an entire security architect and its weakness, its fault, its incident history. And if that information falls on the wrong end, then the consequences are severe, and we cannot imagine the money that need to recover that cost. Like for an Australian organization, a confidentiality breach can also trigger obligation under the notifiable data breach scheme, meaning that they should be notified the breach of data uh, immediately. Like for example, a workplace example, or cybersecurity has access to its cybersecurity analyst has access to his company's architecture, it's all the flaws, it's all the pros and cons, and like its trading algorithm. Like after this, like even he or she left the job, or he or she in the job, like some rival company may approach him to and give him a ransom amount of money to disclose all these secrets or all these information. And at the time a confidentiality come into action, and like it should be immediately declined, and it shouldn't be done at all. So document and approach should be kept safe, and if someone approach like this, then they need to be notified. By doing this, the consultants uphold their confidentiality obligation, protect their client from damage of the information, and avoid what could have been a criminal offense. Let's move to the next standard, that is in professional development. The fifth standard is a professional development. As you can see, this standard has two parts. Firstly, you need to be continuously upgraded in your continuously upgrade your knowledge and skill, and then you have to actively help others to grow together. Like AI course says that I will meet the continuous education standards my own professional role requires, and assist those around me to improve their boundaries and knowledge. Like, why does it matter? According to ISC Square Cybersecurity Workforce Study 2023, it found that there are approximately 4 million cybersecurity professionals, and they are not simply enough skilled people to fill available doors. At the same time, ACSC reports that threats are getting more sophisticated than ever, targeting supply chains, like developing technique that eventually threaten to current encryption method. And a security professional who stops learning after a time, then that can unable to protect these organizations. Yesterday expert are like today's none of none, in a sense that they need to upgrade their knowledge. They need to upgrade their knowledge. For example, like a senior officer in some kind of security system that's work in some kind of security system has encounter a new vulnerability in the system which they can not identify. It is mainly due to they haven't study and update themselves to the current technology or current the system, and that might have caused that, and that will lead in catastrophic situation. Like we didn't then to solve this, like they need to be upgrade themselves, like they need to be educated, they need to learn about new technology, they need to be uh, developed as professionally, and so that they could able to detect different kind of threats. And by doing so, threats are dropped by 40%, and they will simply help to protect the system. Now let's move to our next, that is integrity and respect of other. The sixth and final standard is integrity. Like it is the most important because it has most important impact. The ISA code states that I will pride myself on my ability to act with integrity and with the highest ethical standard. Like integrity means acting morally sound at all time, whether anyone is watching or not watching. It means that resisting pressure to do wrong thing, and avoid conflict of interest, and making decision based on what is ethically right, not what is personally convenient or technically financial benefit. Like, why does it matter? Because it is here is the problem. Like, information security professional are constantly placed in situation where self-interest can conflict with professional duty. Let's say, like, what if and security assessment reveal that system previously certified as a secure by your own company has serious vulnerability. Do you report this, or mm, do you often consider the fact that it might uh, it might damage your firm reputation? Like, without integrity, finding gets softened, risks get downplayed, reports get manipulated, and the organization ends up with false sense of believing that they are secure. But these consequences can be catastrophic. uh, like, the main thing that we need is like to have integrity and uh, claim it by being honest. If you abandon this standard, then it mean nothing. Like, we need to be honest, and we need to have self integrity and guts to tell about this vulnerability and reports the problem. Mm, let's say an example, like an independent cybersecurity consultant is hired by a regional hospital to validate the security of their patient management system, the system that holds the sensitive data records of thousands of patients. During an assessment, a consultants find out there is a critical vulnerability, including a flaw that would allow an attacker to remotely execute a code. But and you uh, got this information, but here is but the main difficult part is like the system was certified as secure, and it doesn't have any flaws. But you or me, like, someone has identified this flaw. Reporting honestly will embarrassing the organization. Like, it could damage their reputation, but all these vulnerabilities should be reported, and like, it should be immediately address and solve the situation. So even in this situation, integrity plays an important role to uplift the organization or the uplift the company. Now let's move to the next. The last section is references. These are all the references that have been used. All are formatted in Harvard AGP style. The main and the key idea is from AISA Code of Ethics itself, and other are drawn from like AS ACSC Annual Cyber Report, IBM Cost of Data Breach Report, at all. Like, to conclude, the AISA Code of Ethics is not just a list of rules; it's a framework that reflects what it means to be a trustworthy professional in a field where people organization depends on you, and no matter what, you need to protect their data and their identity. Right, thank you for your time. I'm happy to take any kind of question if you want, and here I end my presentation. Thank you.